Hey Summers! Welcome to Make 2 and something new for our channel. This is going to be a Sims 4 speed remodel. I know that Sims 4 speed build videos are pretty popular on YouTube, but I think I need a lot more practice building the game before I can try something like that. So I thought a remodel of an existing house in the game could be a small step in that direction. This, as you can see, is a 50 by 50 property in Willow Creek. One of the reasons I want to remodel this one is because we've got a Sims 4 Let's Play series focusing on the Eden family, and in that series we've got a couple of characters who we are about to send on a romantic vacation, and I thought, why not build them a bed and breakfast to stay in? For those of you who don't know what a bed and breakfast is, basically it's a house which has been converted into a place of business for people to come and stay the night and have a home-cooked meal in the morning. It's meant to be a lot cozier and friendlier than a hotel because you get to stay basically in a real house and have very nice people cooking you a really lovely breakfast in the morning, hence the bed and breakfast title. So as you can see, this house I just thought was ideally situated because, I mean, look at it. It's got this view of this bay and this dock structure over here and a lighthouse. The property itself is gorgeous. It's got all these lovely willow trees. There's this gazebo where I can picture a couple having a romantic sit. There's a private patio here, lovely landscaping all around, a long, elegant driveway. And then if we go into the house itself, we can see there's a massive formal sitting room here, a very large dining room where I can imagine a few tables for guests to have their breakfast at in the morning. There's a massive kitchen. Most of the B&Bs that we've stayed at have been owned and operated by really great chefs, and so I think that the owners and operators of this B&B would make a lot of use out of this kitchen. Then upstairs, we've got 4 bedrooms. It looks like this one has its own ensuite bathroom. This bathroom is for the other rooms to share, although I think in my remodeling I'm going to probably make this an ensuite for that room, and then maybe put in another bathroom for these 2 bedrooms, and then just generally do some redecorating here and there. So I am going to go ahead and put in the codes that I typically use when building. That is BB Move Objects is the main one, which gives more flexibility about where objects are placed. Also, BB.Ignore Gameplay Unlocks Entitlement, and that is just to open up the range of possible items that you can use. Another one is BB Show Hidden Objects. Again, it just shows a lot more objects than you would get normally if you haven't, properly leveled up and all of that. So I'm going to start speeding up the video here. I'll try and talk through some of what I'm doing as well. And then hopefully we'll end up with something relatively good. So stay tuned. So the first thing I'm going to do is move this piano into the living room. I think it just works better there than in the dining room. And also the dining room is meant to be for the guests to have breakfast. So I'm changing the orientation of the bathroom. And now I'm going to just redo the dining room. I'm going to go with a few scattered tables. Some B&Bs do want their guests to just all sit around one large table for breakfast in the morning, but for our Let's Play, I want to have the Sims be able to sit at a table just to themselves. So I'm going instead for smaller tables and multiple smaller tables. And then upstairs, I am going to just do some mild redecorating. This is not going to be terribly drastic in this part of the video. In the second part of the video, I will be doing some actual building in the basement. For now, upstairs, it's just changing up decorations and furniture, moving things around, but in the basement will be some actual building. So making these 2 bathrooms match. Basically, I want all the bathrooms to be very similar because it's meant to be a business for guests to stay. The rooms can be different, they can have their own character, but the bathrooms will be largely the same. These curtains are really weird and didn't seem to match the rest of the room. I'm not really in love with the curtains that I replaced them with either. I probably could spend way too long just picking out curtains and stupid things like that, but I was conscious also of the fact that I was recording this video, and even though it was going to be sped up, I didn't want it to be just me picking out curtains for like 5 minutes, so I just made a quick decision and ran with it. This bedroom over here looked like it was for maybe a child of the family, so instead I am now making it into another guest bedroom with a larger bed, and as I said before, creating a bathroom between the two so that the two rooms can share a bathroom. I really love the eyedropper tool, by the way. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have this. I also really love the ability to undo actions. Placing this lamp, so very important. So for this room, I wanted to go for a bit of a cheerful, yellowy sunflower theme. So I'm gonna choose furnishings and decorations to match. I think generally I just really love the style of this house. It's very old-fashioned, very traditional in, that kind of old American way. And there's a lot of furniture in the store to match that kind of theme. I like how each room has its own theme. I feel like that one is a bit more dark and masculine. So out in the patio, I'm just adding another table and chair set. With just the one table, it seemed like more of a family patio, but because this is now a business where guests are staying, more tables. And under here, I'm just centering the table and chairs under the gazebo roof. So I thought about putting stuff in the attic, but it would have required changing up the layout of the upstairs to make room for another staircase, and it involved changing the roof, and I'm still terrible at roofs, so I decided to leave the attic largely alone. And then I thought, why not use the basement for family quarters? The owners and operators of the B&B, I wanted them to live on site, but obviously they can't live in any of the guest rooms, so the basement is the best place for them to go. That having been said, again, it would have required redoing some of the layout of the downstairs to make room for a staircase into the basement. So as a compromise, I decided to just have exterior stairs and put a bit of a half wall around them for a bit more privacy. It does mean that the owners of the B&B would have to actually come outside to take this staircase, but, they sacrifice for their guests. So here's where I'm going to be doing some actual building from scratch, and you will see that it takes me a long time even just to make a small basement apartment like I'm going to be doing. I would say essentially this is a 1-bedroom apartment, and I will be doing my best to decorate it still in keeping with that old-fashioned traditional American style from the upstairs. I kind of had this idea that the house has been passed down through a family, and the current generation decided to open it as a bed and breakfast, so a lot of the furniture will feel very hand-me-down or like it's been in the family for a while. So nothing terribly fancy here, but just warm and cozy. And for the color scheme, I'm going with a sort of brown and tan and green feel, so a lot of the furniture and decorations and countertops and appliances will match that as well. So generally when I'm building, I like to place a bit of furniture first and then start building around it and then decorating even more as I go, just because I like to have a sense of the scale of a room. So I'm still, like I said, relatively new to building in this game, and so when I'm presented with a huge blank canvas like a basement or an empty property lot, I need to know exactly how big the rooms need to be realistic. So I like to put just a bit of furniture in to begin with and then start building around the furniture. This is me experimenting with spandrels, which I still don't really understand. I don't know why they work the way they do, or why they change appearances sometimes. So I'm putting a small kitchen down here, even though there's a huge kitchen upstairs in the house itself. I just thought in case the family didn't want to go all the way back upstairs into the house, they could have a small kitchen here just to prepare small meals for themselves. Oh, here's one gripe I have. Why is it that the cabinet pieces here aren't all the same width? Like, I do understand that some are meant to be end pieces, so the ones, on the right are slightly narrower, and the ones on the left are slightly narrower on, that side, but like, sometimes I just think it looks like a really good cabinet, and I want to put it, in a row of cabinets, but I can't do that because since they're skinnier, they leave a gap with the other cabinets, and it's just really annoying, and I've had to learn that lesson over and over again every time I try to make a kitchen. Maybe I'm the only one with this gripe, I don't know. So I like the idea of having an exposed brick wall in the basement just as a reminder that it is a basement, it is underground, and also the house is fairly old, so it's like a throwback or, a reference to the foundations of the house. So actually, I think at this point in the game, I am building without any cheat codes because I had exited the game and slept on the house overnight, thinking I would come back to it with a fresh start the next day. to build the basement, and then I forgot to turn the cheat codes back on, so I'm actually building now with only the stuff that you get in the base game, and also Get to Work, which is the expansion pack that we have, but none of the hidden objects are available, and I completely forgot. So this is still what you can get, even without doing the cheat codes, and it's still quite a lot of stuff. So yeah, I did just place a fireplace. It probably doesn't make a ton of sense to have a fireplace in the basement. You will see that I get rid of it later. So usually when I'm building, if I get a little bit tired of a room or feel like I've hit a wall on decorating one particular room, I will switch over into another room and then switch back into another one. It's just, yeah, it's not like I decorate a room until I'm satisfied with it and then move on. I will switch back and forth between different rooms. So you can see I'm gonna get started on the bedroom now, and then I'll come back to the living room. So this actually is going to be a laundry room, which I think is pretty important for a bed and breakfast to have. They need to be able to wash all the sheets and towels that guests use, but I have to do it with counters and just sort of pretend that it's a laundry room. I think I've read that there still aren't any washer or dryers in the game, so I do this in Sims Free Play all the time. Like, I just pretend that countertops are washer and dryer units. So I've done that here as well. So I think you're going to see me realize that a fireplace is really not going to work. So I had this thought that maybe I would put bookcases on either side of the fireplace, but then in the process of doing that, I just realized a fireplace really isn't going to work in the basement, and I'm going to take it out. And then I thought, you know, a bed and breakfast is a business, so there needs to be a place for the owners to work and keep track of things like records and finances and reservations and all of that kind of thing. So I decided to set up a little desk in the corner. It's actually a console table to save space because there isn't a ton of space. I've done that before in a previous house I built, and I feel like it works. Because there aren't windows in the basement, of course, I feel like I've got to put more paintings and decorations throughout. So it's looking pretty cozy. I actually kind of like how this turned out. Like, I think it would make a pretty nice one-bedroom apartment, and it just looks very warm and inviting. Oh, I'm just placing some of these champagne buckets throughout the rooms because it's meant to be a romantic kind of B&B. So that is it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this speed remodel and building of a basement. Please let us know in the comments what you think, and if you're new to our channel, feel free to subscribe because we've got plenty more Sims 4 videos on the way, including, hopefully, the episode where we get our characters to stay at the bed and breakfast. Thanks for watching!